This is my go-to DPS build that can be used in all expeditions at M3 difficulty. It's great for both beginners looking to get into M3s as well as seasoned experts. It offers key debuffs such as Weaken and Rend, helps with grouping enemies, and offers both melee and ranged options. For this build, we will be using 3 weapons: the spear, the great axe, and the hatchet. We will use the spear and the great axe for the majority of the expedition, making use of the great axe abilities to help group enemies. We will then switch out the great axe for the hatchet on boss fights, providing us both a ranged attack and greater survivability thanks to Defy Death. For our first weapon, we have the spear. The spear is one of my favourite DPS weapons in the game. It has a great feel to it, offering a very fluid playstyle with high stamina regen for frequent dodges. For our perks, we are using Vicious, Keenly Empowered, and Enfeebling Skewer. Enfeebling Skewer is key here, causing Skewer to apply a massive 47% weaken. Having someone using a spear with this perk is almost mandatory for most M3 groups. For our second weapon, we have the Great Axe. The Great Axe will mainly be used for its abilities, with the spear providing our main DPS. For our perks, we are using Enfeebling Maelstrom, Refreshing Move, and Thwarting Strikes. Similar to the spear, Enfeebling Maelstrom is key here, causing Maelstrom to apply a 27% weaken. For our third weapon, we have the hatchet. As stated earlier, we will switch out our great axe for the hatchet when we get to boss fights. For our hatchet of choice, we are using the artifact Sin. Sin comes with the unique perk Corruption, causing our debuffs to last 25% longer, and Defile, causing us to deal 2% more damage per debuff on a target. These both combo nicely with the spear that applies Rend, Weakness, and Bleed. Sin comes with Keenly Jagged and Refreshing Move. For the final perk, we have added a gem slot. For the armor, we are in a light equip load. For our chest, we are using Featherweight. Featherweight's unique perk, Weightless, removes the weight from the chest piece. This allows us to use some heavy armor pieces while still remaining in a light equip load. This boosts our overall armor and survivability. Featherweight comes with Refreshing and Physical Aversion. For the final perk, we have added Health. For our helm, we are using Enchanted Ward, Elemental Aversion, and Fortifying Perforate. Fortifying Perforate boosts the extra armor from Featherweight even further, providing even more survivability. For our gloves, we are using Health, Enchanted Ward, and Refreshing. For our legs, we are using Enchanted Ward, Refreshing, and Slash Conditioning. And for our boots, we are using Health, Enchanted Ward, and Thrust Conditioning. Overall, this gives us 3 health, 4 Enchanted Ward, and including our airing, 4 Refreshing, with some one-off perks in there too. For our amulet, we are using health and an element protection perk that matches the element of the mutation we are doing. For the ring, we are using Hearty, Thrust Damage, and Leeching. For the earring, we are using the artifact Endless Thirst. Endless Thirst's unique perk, the Thirst, causes our healing consumables to be 33% stronger, but with a 25% increased cooldown. It comes with both Empowering Toast and Fortifying Toast. This all combined turns our health pots into a big heal that boosts both defense and offense. For the final perk, we have added Refreshing. For our attributes, we are using 350 strength, 200 dex, and 50 con. All three of our weapons scale with strength, and all benefit from the strength attribute threshold bonuses, with 350 strength providing plus 10% damage to abilities. With both the spear and the hatchet also scaling with dex, 200 dex adds even more damage. The 200 dex bonus provides plus 10% damage to backstabs, which, as we are in a DPS role, should be hitting frequently. 50 con provides us with plus 10% to physical armor. For our skills on the spear, we are using Sweep, Perforate, and Skewer. Sweep provides knockdown and damage. Perforate provides damage, rend, weaken and fortify, and Skewer provides damage, bleed, weaken and empower. For our skills on the Great Axe, we are using Reap, Maelstrom and Gravity Well. The main purpose of the Great Axe is to help group enemies together. All three of these skills help to do this. We will generally open with Gravity Well to group enemies just before our tank taunts, allowing our tank to taunt and sometimes stun all enemies at once. We can then follow up with Maelstrom if needed to group even further and apply Weaken. Reap is there to help catch any enemies that are off on their own and bring them into the clump. Once grouped, we can then switch to the Spear to apply further debuffs and output our main DPS. For our skills on the Hatchet, we are using Rending Throw, Raging Torrent and Berserk. Rending Throw provides a 20% rend. Raging Torrent provides damage, and Berserk provides a 20% damage buff, haste, lifesteal, cleanse, and grants uninterruptible. Aimed Throw is a key passive that allows us to attack from ranged with the hatchet. This is extremely useful to add additional options when fighting bosses where a ranged attack might be more beneficial. Defy Death, the ultimate passive, is also amazing for the build. It provides us with a safety net and can often come in clutch to prevent death from one-shot attacks or mechanics. Let's now take a look at some of the pros of the build. Excellent utility. This build offers great utility. It offers key debuffs such as Weaken and Rend, helps with grouping enemies, and offers both melee and ranged options. High damage and survivability. This build offers both high damage and relatively high survivability for a DPS role. In-demand weapons. A spear with enfeebling Skewer and a Great Axe with enfeebling Maelstrom are always wanted in M3 groups. You should find no problem finding a group with this build. That's it for the video. If you have any questions about the build, drop a comment below and I'll get back to you. Thanks for watching.